and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together for Chuck Green.
Wow, it's like Arsenio or something. Remember Arsenio?
Yeah, no, this is the dog pound.
Those people over there, those are no. Well, hello, I'm already breaking stuff. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for hanging out. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second live taping of Under the Hood. We really appreciate you guys coming out, and we got a couple things planned for you today. But first, again, I've been, for those of you who don't know, I'm one of the international sales managers for ADJ, so I travel around quite a bit, and I'm really starting to get surprised at how many people watch Under the Hood.
Yeah, so tell us about your fan base around the world.
Fan base. It's the American DJs fan base, but I was talking to some people from Poland, and if they're watching, hello, however you say hello in Polish.
Albitism, right?
Or sure. Okay, well, whatever. Yeah, Poland. I met this lady from Siberia, and she comes up to me, I know you. And I was like, oh yeah, and she's like, I watch Under the Hood. And I was like, I thought she was like a James Bond girl. It was awesome, and in Japan, konnichiwa. It's amazing, and it's really cool to see people getting excited about lighting and the ADJ products, and this year's no exception. We have some pretty exciting stuff. Of course, all day long you guys have been hearing about the Wi-Fi stuff, and this one actually belongs to Marco in the sales department.
Yeah,
apparently.
he marked it just for them because we keep taking it.
Yeah, it's like the sandwiches in the fridge. So, you guys have been hearing about this. This is the 2.4 gigahertz wireless system replacing our old Wi-Flex stuff. It's a bit more reliable than the older stuff, a little more up to date. And I do love the fact that it's a transceiver because
that's easy. Yeah,
I mean, if you buy 10 of these, you can have a system with 1 transmitter, 9 receivers, or you can have 5 systems of, transmission and receiving.
I had the other style, and it had to be a transmitter or the receiver, and I made the mistake of putting the receiver closer to me and the transmitter. Yeah. So it's a big pain.
Were you one of the kids putting like the square block through the circle?
Yeah. Same thing.
So I mean, we've been really excited, and I mean, I know you guys have been hearing about it all day, and I kind of, this isn't really what we're focusing on, but I kind of got inspired earlier and went ahead and took one apart.
Look at that.
I'm supposed to. Alfred said, hey,
we're supposed to do it live.
Maybe make sure they know how to replace the battery. And I said, well, okay.
But there was a question about replacing the battery.
Okay, I can still replace it. I just wanted to see what was going on with it. So hopefully yours doesn't look like this one. Let me just put this back.
It looks better put together.
Yeah, well, depends. Teach their own. So it's a user replaceable lithium-ion battery. Kind of looks like the ones I used to put in my remote control cars. A little bigger, but anyway, you simply clip it in, and you can when the time comes that you need a replacement, just call our service department. This will be a parts deal. So anyway, I mean, it's that easy. You clip it and you
shove it in.
Oops. You kind of got to. Well, actually, what I should mention is there's these compartments on the side. So then you kind of tuck the wire and the wire harness, back in there. We wanted to make it as easy as possible. Then you've got, the door with the little spring-loaded thumb screws.
That's a cool feature because I always lose screws.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those little things that we get feedback from you guys, the mobile guys, and they said, hey, quit making me lose screws and buy parts.
We listen very carefully.
And the salesman in me says, well, buy more screws from me, but that's all right. So anyway, that's really, it's easy as that. I really dig these fixtures, and I plan on doing another video about them, but I think it's cool that you can roll into a gig, the road case, maybe 8 or 10 of these, and this guy right here, and just set them down. You don't have to hire your cousin anymore to tape down cable or gaff it all over the place, especially if you're doing a wedding and it's supposed to look classy. it looks a little bit nicer without the tape all over the place. And it's really neat too that the battery is at the very bottom of the base, so it has a low center of gravity. So I mean, and this one doesn't even have the yoke on it, so it's not going to get knocked over real easy. And then here you can see we've got our 5-watt quad color diodes with that big old heat sink on it, because you know the heat comes off the back. And again, we use high quality clean wiring harnesses and our own designed PC boards, so we don't have to, when we do service for whatever reason, if it needs service, we don't have to do component level replacements. We just swap the board out. It's our board. It's not an off-the-shelf thing, but we have the boards in stock. We hook it back up, and you're back to your gig. So anyhow, there's the diodes. There's the case. I just kind of wanted to check it out. But I know you guys probably want to see something kind of new.
We have to take something apart. That's the Under the Hood show. That was just like a little preview, a little taste. And we've been talking Wi-Fi about the whole system all day, so why not show you? But we have a real cool light to show you. And by the way, these lights give such a really deep saturated color. Awesome color. The quads or ambers are really rich and deep.
And the nice thing about RGBA, we were talking to event people about RGBA versus RGBW, and the event people really prefer RGBA because you get more flattering skin tones. It also makes it a lot easier to make lavenders, and of course you can have orange, you know, so RGBA was really, you know, kind of the way to go.
Yeah, good,
so
good idea.
Let me get this out of here.
So here it is.
Today we're going to do the quad phase HP. Now I had the little remote for this guy somewhere. Oh, there it is.
Ooh.
Comes with a little remote. So, you know, I was looking at some of the new stuff. I happen to love the quad phase. I love the tri-phase. I love the quad phase. I even like the little micro phase. I'm a phase-aholic.
Phase-aholic. Are you phased?
I need to go to meetings for my phase problem. So, and I thought, well, I've done a show about the tri-phase and the quad phase. Is this just going to be, you know, a more powerful version? And yeah, it is. But
so HP doesn't stand for Huntington Park? It stands for high power.
High power, you know, and, you know, being a car guy, I like more horsepower.
Right.
So this guy is actually using a new 32, let me just shine it right in everyone's eyes.
Blink.
It's using our new 32-watt quad color, so that gives you 8 watts of color.
That's not bad.
Per color. So it's a nice, bright effect light. I mean, I'm sure most of you are familiar with the quad phase. Well, now you got a much brighter one for the bigger dance floors or just where you want a little more punch. But a really neat feature is this included remote. And you can do things like, of course, black it out, or you can strobe. It also has color selection, so you have 9 different buttons for different color combinations, RGB, W, different combinations for that. And you can also turn on and off the sound active mode. So, I mean, this is a really handy, intuitive remote. It's not going to take any kind of degree to operate this remote. You should be able to use it. If you can't, you shouldn't be operating a motor vehicle at any point.
And it makes smoothies. No, that's the other one.
Free HBO.
Free HBO.
So another really cool feature, before I rip this thing open, that I really like about this light, and I think we're going to start seeing it in more of our future products, is it has a feature called DMX State of DMX. And
not State of the Nation.
Yes, it's the 51st state, DMX state. Really what that means is for those of you that run your fixtures DMX, when you run this DMX, if for some reason you lose your DMX signal, you have 3 options that you can pre-program into this fixture. If it loses DMX, you can have it go right into sound active mode. Or you can have it black out, or you can have it choose, it'll say last on the menu, the last command it was sent DMX, it'll lock into that. So you have 3 different options should you lose DMX. I think that's pretty cool to have a safety backup.
Very cool, especially if you run your whole show DMX. I know a lot of DMX heads would like to know if that DMX ever lost its link, and if it turns off, you're like, oh, okay, I know that something's wrong.
And you know, a lot of times too, if you're a mobile guy and you just want to keep the party moving, That's
don't want
fine.
to stop.
I know a lot of production guys prefer it black out if it's not receiving DMX versus changing the whole color scheme.
Yeah.
Everything else is blue and this thing's going green over here or whatever. So that's never fun. But anyway, that's a really neat feature. It's called DMX State.
DMX State.
And on the back, it's pretty standard fare. You've got your DMX in and out. You've got your IEC in and out. You've got the little 1/4 inch for your remote, your UC3 remote, and then our standard 4-character 4-button menu. So, and of course, like I say,
Safety loop.
practice safe lighting. So safety loop.
Always use protection, folks.
Safety cable. If you love your clients, you'll use safety cables.
All right, so speaking of protection, shall we take it apart? Good.
All right.
So you have your screwdriver, and while he's taking it apart, I think it's time for mailbag.
You've got mail.
Mailbag. There's a graphic that comes on. All right.
Is that the song, the mailbag song?
I don't know. We should. Mailbag. Whoever watched Blue's Clues. Remember Blue's Clues? They had a little song. Says something mail. Now it's all right. Anyways, these are questions submitted by our users on YouTube and Facebook, and they are questions geared towards Chuck or towards our technology and DJ Lights. So, Frosty Carol asks, "Do LEDs ever get hot?"
Frosty Carol.
Frosty Carol.
Is she a snow woman?
I guess.
Well. I mean, part of the attraction of LED is they don't create heat much like an incandescent or a halogen, or they don't create as much heat, I should say. But yeah, they do create heat, and generally it dissipates off the back, which is actually, this is a good example of why the heat sink's on the back. But the nice thing is it's not a ton of heat, but of course, like anything electronic, heat can damage it, which is why we always put cooling systems still on the LED stuff where it's needed.
Cool. Great answer. Here we go. Benji Adams asks, "How long will it take to walk to Las Vegas?"
To Vegas?
To Las Vegas.
I mean, I bet it's quicker to walk there than to walk back, from Vegas.
You're in the zigzag pattern.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, have you ever flown to Vegas?
Yes.
Everybody on the way there is just, woo, on the plane, Vegas. On the way back, everyone's just depressed.
Quiet.
That must be really funny when you're the pilot doing that route. You're like, oh, we're taking them to Vegas. Okay, It's going to be a quiet flight back.
If it's Denzel Washington, he's probably partying on the way there and on the way back. All right. I don't know if you guys seen the movie. Anyways, question is from Sonny Pennington. What is Charlie Sheen's birth name?
I know this. Carlos Estevez.
Oh,
Carlos Estevez?
Nice.
Yes?
Nice.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to take your word for it.
And a fun fact, my name is actually Carlos Verde.
Carlos Verde.
That's actually what they call me over.
Y ahora presentamos Carlos Verde.
Hola.
Excellent. All right. Our next question comes from Dorothy Lassie. Who's your favorite Beastie Boy?
MCA, yeah. MCA.
Cool.
Yeah. But you know what? I love the Beastie Boys. I mean, growing up, I was just, I still love the Beasties,
Yeah.
So yes, MCA.
Favorite Beastie song?
Well,
live
that
question
depends.
from our audience.
That's kind of a tricky one because I used to get into their jazz stuff too, like the in sound from Way Out. So I like Groove Holmes and Pow. But then of course I love Sabotage and I love, What You Want. There's just too many. I love the Beastie
Too many.
Boys. That was a cool question. Who asked that?
No, that was a live question from Marias Kurtz, also a YouTube viewer who happens to be here in the audience.
Nice.
All right, how you doing? You got time for one more question?
Yeah, I'm still kind of figuring this out.
Cool. Here we go. Our next question from Magana 107. What's the difference between a lighting designer and a lighting programmer?
Well, that's a lighting designer. For instance, like Michael Betancourt.
Michael Betancourt.
Our Michael Betancourt, he designed this room and the fixture placement and had a vision, and then you bring in a programmer like Esteban.
Esteban.
And Esteban programs it up. You kind of you know, sometimes LDs are programmers, and sometimes programmers are LDs, but usually it's a team effort. And so you got to have a guy with a vision, and then you got a guy that's going to sit there and
know the characteristics of each light and program a right look for that moment in time.
I happen to really enjoy programming.
Yeah, you do that?
Especially it's better, you know, when you got a real creative LD that can kind of throw the thing together, and then you go, all right, I got to program it, you know. So,
nice.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Cool. Cool. All right, moving along. Do we have one more question?
We can take one more. I'm still kind of trying to figure out what
It's because I'm distracting him. He can't do two things at the same time.
ADD.
You can't record an Under Hood show and take apart a light and answer the question. So here we go. Here's Mr. Stickman Hero's question from YouTube. Is it live or is it Memorex?
What? God. We're dating ourselves, huh?
It is pretty much dating ourselves. Who remembers that tagline?
It's Betamax, my friend.
Betamax.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So I would say live, right?
Yeah, it's live.
There's no Memorex around here.
That's right.
Not even in our tape. It's all digital. It's all a hard drive. So and the hard drive's probably made by Best Western.
I got an 8-track in my ride.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The old Lear 8-track.
You buy your 8-track in where?
I go to the swap meet and get my 8-track.
I buy mine at Save-On, like everybody else does. Or Alpha Beta. All right. Miss Gingerfire, where do we go when we die?
The ground? I don't know.
Somewhere.
If I knew that, I probably wouldn't be hosting right now. So, nowhere, I don't know. Well, yeah. I'll let you guys know as soon as I find out. It'll be real spooky.
Spooky.
Yeah, so I think, we got a good view here. So we got the quad phase HP. Is there any more?
No, we got more, but it looks like you're done. So hopefully
we can just sit here and answer people's questions.
We could do that all day, but we're not.
So I got it open, and then from this angle, it pretty much looks like a standard quad phase, but on really, someone had to pull up the Beastie Boys.
Nice chord.
Now we can't put it on YouTube.
I know.
So. Here is our new 32-watt RGBW SMD diode, and you can see it's got a nice convex lens on it that really kind of spreads out the beam and projects it back towards these mirrors. We'll also have it sitting on a heat sink, sitting on a fan. So this thing is going to stay nice and cool. You're not going to have to worry about it overheating anytime soon. And inside it's kind of the same setup as before with the rotating dishes, but one thing I was noticing here is we've got